Welcome to another episode of Ship a War, my review of the CW's Beauty and the Beast series premiere.
Ship a War. When ship happens, I'm there.
Now before you guys continue on with this review, I just want to warn you guys this is going to be a very spoiler-filled review. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, I suggest you stop this video and go watch the episode and then possibly come back if you want to. So with that said, I have to say that I pretty much shot myself in the foot when it came to this episode, this pilot episode for this series, because I've been following it since it was announced. And so I've seen a lot of clips, a lot of trailers, a lot of promos. I've read the casting side, which was probably the biggest mistake I could have done, but I did it anyways. And because of that, I fully did not enjoy this episode. Now, before you think that I hated the episode or I thought it was terrible. No, I just didn't fully enjoy it because there was a lot of things in the episode that I wish was done a lot better. Because you know how they have that saying that they say that a book is better than the actual film? Normally people believe the book is better than the film. Well, the casting side was better than the episode. For me, at least, it was. Because there was things in the casting side that I felt had a lot of substance to it that was then done in the actual episode, and it just fell flat for me. I just felt like this whole episode was rushed, like completely rushed. Like they had so much they wanted to say and tell, and they took all that stuff and just crammed it into this episode. And to do that, they just basically had to cut the crap out of a bunch of scenes just to make it happen, and that's how it felt. Catherine's sister's actually in the pilot episode in the casting side. Here, she's nowhere to be found, and yet, even without her in it, it feels like there's way too many characters. I feel like the subplot for this episode with the whole magazine lady, murder, blah, 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 honestly, I could have done without it. I feel like they should have just spent more time focusing on fleshing out the characters, making us audience member actually feel some type of emotional connection with these characters. And everything was just really fast paced. It was very, very hard to like grab onto what was being fed to you as an audience member when it came to this episode. And I really hope the later episodes are not like this, that they slowed things down. I feel like the only time things were actually slowed down was when Catherine and Vince were together and they were interacting. I feel like the episode slowed down and I couldn't like sit down and relax and be like, okay, let me watch this. Okay, I see what's going on here. But everything else just felt very rushed and I really didn't like it. I think these characters need to be fleshed out a lot more, and of course there's a full season for it to actually take place, so hopefully we'll see it then. Like, for example, I felt like what was really rushed in the actual casting sides, we learn more about Catherine's father, like his engagement and all that, and how Catherine's upset with it, and you see her talking to her sister about it, and we don't get that in this episode, and if we did, I probably completely missed it. It's mentioned at her dad's engagement and she's going to go to it, and that's all we got out of it. I felt like if they weren't going to spend a lot of time on this whole side story with Catherine and her father, maybe they should have kept it for the next episode and not put it in the pilot, because I felt like that came out of like left field. Like, I read the casting side, so I know the backstory to it, but for an audience member, I feel like they hear this, what's going on here, and they're like, where did this come from? Like, her father's engaged and she's going to an engagement party, okay. But with that said, I see a lot of potential for this TV series to do well if they fix these problems. Because Catherine and Vincent, the chemistry is there. Jay Ryan, Kristen Krug, they have the chemistry, definitely. So they did right with that. They completely did right with that. But everything else needs work. Really does. Really, really does. But with that said, the other thing that I really, really liked about this series, I have to say this is the most diverse CW TV series I've ever seen. I really enjoyed that. Watching this TV series and seeing the fact that they have such a diverse group of people is just really great. Not only in the sense of, like, I guess, race, but also you have Jay Ryan, who's from New Zealand. You have Max Brown, who's from England. You know, like that mixture of people. Kristen Krug's from Canada. You have American actors. It's just a really diverse group of people, and it's nice to see. It's really, really nice to see that on television. So I really appreciate that. Also, I really like the whole girl power thing. I have to say, honestly, bias aside, I'm not being biased. I really like Catherine's character. Really, honestly, really enjoyed her character. I really liked her. She was a lot of fun to watch. It was very interesting to see Kristen Krug in this role because it was very different, and I really liked her. Like, I didn't see Lala Lang, I didn't see Kristen Krug. I saw this Catherine character, and I really enjoyed her as a character, as a person, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of her because she seems like a pretty cool chick. There's other things I really want to talk about, but I feel like I'm going to be here all night just discussing this, and this will be a really extremely long review. Now, who I suggest this series to, I don't know. Just go in with an open mind. Don't watch a lot of promos and trailers and interviews, and do not read the casting sites prior to seeing this episode. If you haven't seen it and you actually sat through this whole review where I basically spoiled the episode for you. Not really, but in a portion of it I did. So that is all for this episode of Ship War. Goodbye, and until next time, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Only reason why I went to see this movie at the theater was because the screener for it was really close to my house, and I thought, you know, why not? Watched the trailer, I kind of chuckled during it, and I said, you know, it's possible this movie could be funny. And I'm happy to report that the movie is actually somewhat funny. It actually laughs during this film. Now, I have to be honest, prior to seeing this film, I had no idea it was a Happy Madison production film. Because if I knew that, even though the screener was really close to me, I